last time on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX!
Do you see the light? Have you seen the light?
Yes! Yes! Jesus H. Goddamn Christ! I have seen the light!
Come on, you better play your cards right. Come on and get your game on.
Sorry about clogging the toilet again. It's my dino DNA. Gives me big poops. All right. Okay. I'm back. Rested. I'm a little more refreshed. Where were we?
We're gonna go to Yugi's hometown, Domino City!
Right. Well, they waste no time getting to it, as the next episode is the field trip, and they immediately remind you of when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was good.
It's a famous Battle City landmark. This is the spot where Yugi and Joey...
duel to their doom!
Now look, I'm perfectly fine with calling back to other series in a franchise, right? Helps give it a sense of continuity and adds world building. It's good. But this doesn't feel like it's doing that to, help build the lore of the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! It feels like it's doing it just to keep reminding people that you're watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, imagine if in every new Pokemon season, Ash was like, yeah, I like you, my new traveling companions, but remember my old ones? Good times, right? It doesn't help the show about moving to the next generation, which is what it's about. When it keeps referencing the old one, I feel like somehow we kind of lost the plot.
You're telling me this is the spot where Yugi dueled his first rare hunter? Of course, it was Slifer the Sky Dragon. That duel is legendary. According to my guidebook, Pegasus handcuffed them to this pier.
Get your facts straight. It was Marek, and he chained their ankles to an anchor.
That's very detailed. How do people know about that? Is this common knowledge in this world? Did Tristan write a tell-all memoir or something? Also, a weird moment here, which I'm gonna say is more of 4Kids being lazy this season, where I think for the first time in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Animes, a character references past events in this universe as Yu-Gi-Oh!
Let me lead. At least I'm up to date on my Yu-Gi-Oh! history.
I think the only other time that was brought up was when Yami said that's what he was called back in the early days of the show when they were still figuring shit out. It's just weird to hear a title drop like that. Anyways, yep, we're back in Domino, so there's probably going to be a cameo from an original character, right? Not Yugi, I mean, he technically already showed up already. Also, Kaiba does make an appearance. Sartorius meets with him, who weirdly mentions Kaiba has not aged in years.
Everything I've heard about you is true. Not only haven't you aged in years, but you're as shrewd as the day you stepped in.
I don't know why that line was added. We know why they were too lazy to come up with a time skip design. So we've already used the main rival. Also, Pegasus showed up too, so we can't use him. Can't be anyone too important, like Joey or even Taya, so it's gotta be a more jobber character, like Tristan, Duke, maybe since Kaiba's in this, Mokuba shows up.
Hello? That you, Yugi? Oh, I'm sorry. I could have sworn I heard my grandson.
Oh, it's Granddad. That's the best we could do? I mean, I wish we got someone else, because it seems Granddad's off his meds. Normally, that's a joke that I have used several times in the past, but here, I mean it, because, again, 4Kids, in their 5-head wisdom that even I can't understand, apparently, they actually make Granddad sound senile in this. Like, he legit sounds like the version of him from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series.
Does Yugi still live here?
He went to the market to get some olives. About 3 years ago.
As a matter of fact, we're here on a school field trip.
Huh? Feel like taking a dip? Sorry, don't have a pool. This is where the tournament began. Or was it there? You get the point.
Little Karibo should sue. And, great, Granddad wandered off while I was explaining that. That's when Chaz appears, telling Hasselberry and Cyrus that Granddad was kidnapped and to go to the roof of the shopping mall Yugi and Kaiba did their tag duel in Battle City on to get him back. Where we get another tag duel, as they have to duel Frost and Thunder, so you are capable of coming up with new tag duel enemies. We're working for a mysterious woman named Serena, who has some connection to the Society of Light. Not gonna lie, I liked this duel. It was pretty fun.
I'm in command, so I activate Pot of Greed. This lets me draw twice.
Frost and Thunder use Monarch cards, which are sick, but seeing the tag duel tactics is cool too, as Frost and Thunder came well prepared for a tag duel, ambushing Cyrus and Hasselberry with their tactics and cards specifically made for tag dueling. But as the duel goes on and Cyrus and Hasselberry learn to work together, better even using Frost and Thunder's monsters, which are reflectors, to be able to see each other's hands and plan their turns accordingly without speaking. That's kind of awesome. Yeah, it's just a good duel. I enjoyed it. I wish they were all like this. Yeah, while I might be down on this season's everything, I think a lot of the duels are actually pretty fun. They're really enjoyable, even the stupider ones. Unfortunately, fun doesn't equal victory, as Dino and Void Boy don't win, because Frost uses a broken anime card, Mirror of Duality, to win, even taking out Thunder, his partner, and they all... well, you'll see what happens to him. Meanwhile, Jaden finds Granddad, who was knocked out, and his bandana is stolen, and also runs into Aster, who points out, Jaden, have you not noticed the 4 big duel monsters in the sky? But before they can find Hasselberry and Cyrus, Frost appears, and he laughs, and he leaves. Seriously, that was like the whole interaction. Why'd he do that? They don't know who he is. Jaden tries to get info on his buds from the society, but they kick him out of the hotel the school is staying at. And Chaz tells him if he wants to save them, go to Kaiba Land tomorrow. Also kicked out were Atticus, who has also not been corrupted by the light yet. And, who is this again? I want to say Bakura. Bastion. Bastion's here too. Love that guy. Oh, who is he? While camping outside in the cold, Jaden runs into T-Bone and Blaze, 2 more of Serena's lackeys, who ran away after she sealed Frost and Thunder's souls since they're no use to her anymore. And they bond with Jaden, not knowing who he is until he says his name. So T-Bone duels him to get in Serena's good graces again. I will say, for being dubbed by 4Kids and having a character named T-Bone, he does not sound as annoying as you think. He's actually fine.
Alright, Holmes, let's do this. I'll be playing Pot of Greed. Check it out. I get 2 cards, then I'll kick Golem to the curb.
Of course, Jaden wins though, and Serena seals away T-Bone too, finally revealing her sexy ass, and tells both Jaden and Aster if they want to save their friends to meet her at Kaiba Land. So Jaden and Aster head there into a strange cyber world. You're still on this shit, Kaiba? Where they see Cyrus turned into a car and Hasselberry into a dinosaur. Of course not, really. We're trapped in cyberpods like the Virtual World arc. These are avatars. I mean, can you imagine Hasselberry turning into a dinosaur for real? That'd be stupid. They meet Serena, who says she's here on Sartorius' orders to find out which of them is the destined duelist who Sartorius must beat to carry out his plan. But he doesn't know if it's Aster or Jaden, so she's here to find out. Obviously, it's Jaden, he's the main character, but she splits herself in 2 to tag duel them to find out.
I'll start by playing Pot of Greed. So now I get to draw 2 more cards.
Of course, the 2 win, with Jaden getting the final hit, so Aster thinks he's the chosen duelist, but Jaden said he wouldn't have won without Aster's help, so they both could be.
That's your turn? Whatever. I think I'll be taking 2 more cards, courtesy of my Pot of Greed spot.
Serena confirms this and seems to pull a full 180 from being evil, because she's actually a good person who pretended to follow Sartorius' plans because she is Sartorius' sister. Back in the day, he was a regular fortune teller, until a mysterious man came by and gave him a special hero card that started corrupting him, turning him into the Sartorius we know now. So she wanted to find the duelist who will save him. Aster, of course, is interested in that hero card because it might be his dad's, but Serena doesn't remember who the guy was, and the card disappeared one day. So Serena, I get pretending to work for Sartorius, but why did you go through all this trouble of hiring lackeys and pretending to be evil when you could have just asked Jaden to duel? He would have said yes, that's kind of his thing. Also, why does you dueling them prove they're destined to beat Sartorius? Also, why did you even duel them in the first place and not just tell them all of this from the start? Before I can ask more questions, Serena set the virtual world to self-destruct for some reason, and decides to let her body explode with it as she uploads her body to cyberspace because she thinks she'll be more help stopping Sartorius from the Digiverse for some reason.
This has been my plan all along. This program will release me into cyberspace. From there, I shall be able to watch over my brother.
That's nuts!
Notice I'm saying for some reason a lot, because stuff seems to be happening with little to no explanation. Well, I know why this was Serena's fate, because she's a woman in Yu-Gi-Oh! It even affects tertiary characters. And look, I'm not stupid, I get what's going on, I'm following along with the plot. I'm just saying it's not explained very well. Sartorius senses that his sister is indeed a woman in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, so she got, and realizes he might have to beat Aster and Jaden, as the school field trip arc, I guess, comes to an end. So 5 episodes to finally reveal Sartorius' backstory in the last 5 minutes. Man, this show sure has some unique pacing. In the next episode, Jaden duels the spirit of a card who was abandoned by her duelist for being bad. I can't comment on if she's bad, because she's an anime exclusive card.
I summon Elemental Hero Bubble Man! And whenever he shows up, as long as I have no other cards on the field, I get to draw 2 more cards from my deck. Next I play Pot of Greed, which lets me draw 2 more cards.
but she's voiced by Cassandra Morris, one of my favorite voice actors.
Didn't you know? My doll has a special effect.
Fans of Season 3 of GX definitely recognize that voice. Don't worry, we'll get there. First, we gotta get through these great episodes, like Jaden dueling Bob, a member of the Society of Light who uses cards themed after a game show. At least the episode was funny.
Time for your next question.
Soldier, if it's multiple choice, go with C.
That's right. And if it's a number, pick 42.
Is that a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference? Well, at least someone at 4Kids has good taste. Meanwhile, who is this guy? Why is the camera on an extra? Can we please get back to a main character? Who? Bastion Masawa? I don't know who that is. He was in Season 1? Really? What'd he do? He got beat up by a hot Amazon lady all night? That's just my fanfiction. Yes, Bastion's situation is another problem in not just GX but future Yu-Gi-Ohs, where a character introduced early on is sidelined and turned into more of a joke when they run out of things for him to do, and they make more characters for no reason. Bastion is especially sick of being neglected, not by the writers, but by the Society of Light, as they went after the Raw Yellow Dorm. Except for him. And even he acknowledges, despite being so smart and such a good duelist apparently, he's only won one on-screen duel, and that was against Chaz before he became Super Saiyan.
Am I a good duelist or not? Good? You're great. Right, Sai? Like when he beat, Go on. Well, that Amazon girl? She won.
So he willingly goes to challenge Chaz, and if he wins, he gets to join the society. Which is kind of funny, but this episode's weird because at the end it's slightly more serious, as this is actually about Bastion's weird issues with him wanting to be seen as someone of value, and that's why he tries and overachieves so hard. At least that's what I got out of it.
Well then watch and learn. I play my Pot of Greed, and with 2 more cards to choose from.
Bastion loses the duel anyway, and this duel was pointless if you think about it, because he was in the society if he won or lost anyway, who cares? Sorry to say, Bastion, you're a woman in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now. Jeez, this thing just keeps spreading. After the duel, Alexis comments that Chaz should ditch... After the duel, Alexis comments that Chaz should ditch the Ojamas, because Bastion noticeably kinda lost on purpose after getting coerced by Sartorius. So Chaz says bye-bye to the bros. And I guess I'll mention this now. Yeah, I hate white Alexis and white Chaz. I hate to say that about my waifu and the Prince of Predaplants, but they're so obnoxious now. Because they act like Mai did when she was possessed by the seal. They go around talking shit we know they can't back up, because they suck.
Where is Sartorius?
That's Master Sartorius. Got that dork, and he's busy.
That's right, especially for your kind. I'm afraid yellow's just not his color.
Now, Alexis is kind of even on duels if you count flashbacks, but Chaz has lost more thanks to Jaden. I like Chaz for the arc he had, but as a duelist, he's good I guess, but on-screen results don't show it. And I'm not going to repeat myself, I went on a whole rant about this with one character before, just go watch that and replace Mai with Chaz and Alexis, it's the same problems. Good to see the writers of that arc kept their jobs at Studio Gallop. Really happy to see their trademark return. You know, let's come back to Zane, maybe he's doing something interesting. Actually, he's doing pretty well for himself. He's back on top of the duel circuit with his new attitude and way of dueling. He even ditches his new manager, that guy who got him into underground duels, to go solo. But Zane needs more power. So he goes to some hidden monastery in a snowy area, okay, where he finds Chancellor Shepard. Yeah, he's been here the whole time, I guess. And we find out Zane is here to take the Underworld cards, because he was chosen for the Cyber Legacy. I'm not going to explain any of that or what it means, because spoilers for later, the reason why he's getting these cards does not matter. Seriously, it comes up in like 5 episodes, I want to say, in the rest of the series, maybe 6. Apparently Zane was trained by Shepard too, because he's a chosen one, but the cards have a price for being so powerful, and Shepard won't hand them over because he thinks Zane's going down a dark path. So they duel.
I draw. Then I play Pot of Greed, so I can draw twice more.
Zane wins, taking the new Cyber Dark deck. Ooh.
I play.
Hang on a sec. Esper's special ability activates. Now I have the privilege of looking at every card you draw.
I activate Pot of Greed, so I can draw 2 cards.
Also, I don't know if some of you are upset that I haven't addressed Zane's cool Cyber End Dragons and all of his other Cyber cards. Yeah, they're cool. Are they Moki Moki though? I think not. So with that loss, Shepard returns to the academy and seems to have some issues with a grown man being a student at his school. He should have more issues with that, but decides to ignore all that and start a tournament. Yes, a tournament arc. Right now. Okay.
I give you the GX Dueling Tournament, a competition for the next generation of master duelists. It's like nothing you've ever experienced before, and it starts right now.
I'm not explaining the rules of this tournament or the structure or what they get. It does not matter to the plot, except for the fact Shepard opens the tourney to other schools and pro duelists from all over the world. Zane was one of them, by the way.
Guess you don't duel so big.
My thoughts exactly. I play the spell Pot of Greed. Give me something.
But Sartorius has his eye on one duelist specifically, Prince Ojin from the made-up country of Misgarth, kind of like India, who Sartorius challenges to a duel.
I'll start by activating this, my Pot of Greed spell card. So 2 more cards for me.
Nicely done.
If Sartorius wins, he gains control of their country's super special satellite. Huh, why Sartorius want that?
Just like my real satellite does. And when I unleash this power upon the world, I will be the most powerful monarch ever to walk the earth. For I possess the latest in mind control technology.
I'm sorry, what does it do?
For I possess the latest in mind control technology.
You know, if this world's entire economy didn't run on children's card games, I'd call out the stupidity of other nations being okay with a mind control satellite. But these two are playing a children's card game to determine who controls it, so is it even worth it? And Sartorius manages to win before he even has a turn. Yeah, he FTKs on his opponent's first turn. When this came out, that's impressive. Today, that's a regular game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So now we know Sartorius' plan, finally. He's going to use this satellite to amplify the Light of Destruction's powers to control everyone on Earth. And our main character saw it all. Okay, so we're gonna go after him now, right guys? Gonna go right to the White Dorm and face him. He's literally right over there. It is literally your destiny to stop him, Jaden.
Princes, dangerous satellites? Now that's the way you kick off a dueling tournament. Can't wait till tomorrow.
Are we gonna at least pretend like we care?
Is Chumley really back?
Huh? Jaden!
Oh, thank God Chumley's someone with sense. Chums, could you tell these people to move the plot along already? I'll give you a grilled cheese. No, instead, him and Pegasus are here because some card designer at Industrial Illusions stole a god card. Who cares?
Then I activate Pot of Greed. This lets me draw 2 cards from my deck.
To annoy me even more, this guy does that defusion trick with him and Ra that Merrick did. I thought we were past cards doing made-up bullshit. Then Jaden duels Orlando, a kabuki stage actor. 4Kids immediately does a good job ignoring how Japanese this episode is.
I activate Pot of Greed, so I draw 2 cards.
Okay, well, let's move it along a little bit now, as Jaden sees Chaz dueling some jobber, and he says Jaden is his next target for the tournament. But Jaden notices Chaz isn't using his Ojamas anymore, and Chaz says he ditched those losers. Jaden, finally realizing he should do something about his friends being brainwashed, finds the Ojama cards in that well of abandoned cards from last season, and plans to use them in his duel against Chaz to help regain his memory.
Alright, Chaz, my move. I play Pot of Greed, so I draw 2 cards.
Also Jaden finally sees the soul of Professor Banner, or Amniel, who pops out of Pharaoh's stomach. Better than the other side, I guess, eh, Banner? It also seems like the Chaz is starting to doubt this Sartorius guy himself. He's been thinking, when we start taking orders from some whitey like him? Well, through Jaden using the Ojamas, they're able to bring Chaz back to the dark. That's right, baby. Our Queen of Queefords is back, and he loses to Jaden, of course. But who cares? Chaz isn't a complete tool anymore. Thank Exodia. And when he sees Alexis is also in the clan, he vows to rescue her, like Jaden rescued him. Spoilers, Chaz does not rescue Alexis. I still love you, bro. We then get a slightly more serious episode as Zane shows up for the GX tournament to find strong opponents, and his first one is Atticus. But not technically. Since Zane is fighting some darkness in him, why not fight it with more darkness? As Chancellor Shepard convinces Atticus to put the mask back on, making him Night Shroud once again. Like, hey, again, kind of a cool duel, but I was distracted by this one shot in this episode. I haven't mentioned, but Atticus is popular with the ladies at the school, and it's this one shot of them running at him. They want to duel him or whatever. I'm sure you men of culture like me did a double take too, because for those that can't tell, These women have no boobs, despite being thick as fuck. Like, when it's one character on screen, it's kind of unnoticeable. When it's a bunch like that, I was just like, these look like AI blobs or something. If you think 4Kids is bad now with the boob jobs, wait till you meet Akiza. Anyways, Atticus in his Nightshroud form loses thanks to Zane's new Cyberdark cards, and says he has no interest in this tournament, he's only going to get stronger. And witnessing all this is Cyrus, who after seeing his brother act like such a douchebag, vows to duel him, hoping to snap him out of it. The next episode is not important, it's a bunch of cuts to various one-off duelists we've met in Season 1. Wait, why is Damon a jungle man again? Didn't he turn back to normal at the end of that?
Now me play pot of greed. Now me draw 2.
And to show that Alexis might still be in there, when she defends her old friends, whatever their names are.
That's not all you lose, because I play Pot of Greed, so I get 2 more cards. Then I'll activate Fulfillment of the Contract, so I pay 800 points for my Cyber Angel Edatin. So a card from my graveyard comes back to my hand. And what do you know, it's my Pot of Greed spell card.
I will say, there is another instance of Chaz getting screwed over here, not due to the show and the writing, it's actually because of the dub. As similar to the first series, late into this one, some voice actors are changing, and Chaz is the first victim, going from the iconic Tony Salerno to Mark Thompson, who you may recognize as he played Duke Devlin in the OG, and he was great there. Here he kinda sucks.
Well, looks like some things never change. You still talking to spacemen? Give it up. It's the maitre d'. He's a famous pro.
I don't think it's his fault. I think he was told to emulate Tony's kind of raspy voice to try to sound as similar to the old Chaz as possible. But it doesn't really work. The old Chaz voice still sounded kind of cocky, overconfident, but still kind of an idiot. It was this real perfect blend. Chaz now sounds like he needs a ginger ale. I need to move all these fucking cars. So yeah, I'm not into the voice. Again, I don't blame the voice actor. I totally think this was 4Kids voice directing. But it does really kill Chaz for me. I guess luckily for me, he's not in this show much anymore. These next 2 episodes aren't that big a deal. Jaden duels some kid who sells his soul so he can have the heart of the cards. Literally, that's his gimmick. He sold his soul to some evil card so he can always draw the card he needs whenever he wants it.
My days of having bad luck are over. Now I can draw whatever card I need. And that's worth way more than my soul.
Then Crowler and Bonaparte duel Pegasus to try to get a job in Industrial Illusions, who is showing up a lot more, I'm noticing. I feel like Pegasus has had more screen time in GX than in Duelist Kingdom, where he was the antagonist. Later in a dream? I'm gonna be honest, I'm not exactly sure how this works, but the good Sartorius, the one under the control of the light, visits Jaden and Aster in their sleep, phrasing, and gives them the keys to the satellites so light crazy Sartorius can't activate it. It's magic or alien magic, whatever, I don't really care. Either way, it's time to finally save Alexis, who's also starting to doubt the light, so Sartorius turns up the luminosity, and even souping up her deck with special ice cards. Not gonna lie, the way super brainwashed Alexis looks down on me, kinda hot.
My love for you is like an Ojama. I love you more than a trip to the Bahamas. And even more than a llama loves his mama. I love you in a dress, but also in pajamas. And you'll always be my little Lexi Rama. Oh, you're too kind.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Unfortunately, Jaden does not think it's hot and beats Alexis, freeing her from the light. Glad she's not a tool anymore either.
I activate Pot of Greed! It looks like it's 2 cards for me.
Well, she's still a woman in Yu-Gi-Oh, so she's not completely out of the woods yet, but at least she doesn't talk like a schoolyard bully anymore. Next up, we have Cyrus versus Zane, the Battle of the Brothers. But Zane brought something special, the same Gimp shock bands from the Underground Duels, saying if Cyrus wants to duel him, he has to duel in his world. I don't know why he didn't use that stuff against Atticus, but whatever.
Respect is for losers.
No, it's not. I'll prove it. You just watch. My move. I play Pot of Greed, so I draw 2 cards.
And this, I think, is the ultimate example of this show blueballing me. Because this duel makes no sense to me. I mean, it feels like it's been building up to something like that, right? With him being the only character to rank up dorms, proving he's moved beyond being under his brother's shadow. Meanwhile, Zane is the one who's now lost his way, unsure of how to duel, and thinks his destructive path is the only way forward. So who better than his brother Cyrus to bring him to his senses by showing him how much he's grown and that even if they don't need each other, they can still rely on each other as brothers. But none of that happens. Cyrus loses. Badly, getting hospitalized, and Zane is still emo.
All right, Zane. Do your worst.
You better watch what you wish for. I activate Pot of Greed, so I pick up 2 more cards.
What was the point of that duel? To be sad? It kinda was, seeing Cyrus done dirty like that. Yes, I know there's payoff in the 3rd season, but for the rest of the season, this is not brought up again. That subplot's done. It's over. What? You gotta understand why I'm confused about this, right? Like, this just made no narrative sense to me. It seemed like it was probably building up to something, and then it just doesn't do it. What the fuck? Anyways, later Jaden duels Professor Eisenstein.
It's Eisenstein!
Whatever. A physics professor, if I remember right, who was hired by Sartorius to get the satellite key back. Jaden wins. I'm only mentioning this duel because it's what brings Bastion, whoever that is, back from the society, because Eisenstein is his hero, and seeing the duel snaps him out of it, I guess. I do think it's funny that it's implied Bastion was not under the influence of the Light of Destruction. He just went along with the society thinking it will get people to respect him. It didn't.
Now it's time to introduce my Schrodinger's cat spell card. And with Pot of Greed, I pick up 2 more cards.
And just like that, we're on the home stretch, kids. That's right, there are only 8 episodes left, and they all lead into one another, more or less. Starting with an episode to give us more insight into Aster's past, where we see the man who taught Aster, whose name is D. No, really, they call him the D.
Pinch me. Is this a dream? Wow, I've always wanted to see the D in action. Are you friends with the D?
Not exactly, but I know someone who's close to him.
Aster. Not only are they friends, the D is Aster's legal guardian.
If his catchphrase after winning isn't "I just gave you the D," then why did he name himself that? But yeah, after Aster's dad disappeared, this guy raised him and taught him about dueling. And we get a whole episode showing one of his duels against some jobber. But when the D plays a special card, the broadcast goes dark and no one saw what happened. Aster will find out because the D calls him and reveals that he killed Aster's father. Yep, after seeing the card when Aster lost it, he broke into his house and just killed his dad. As you do. It's implied the D was kind of already an asshole before all this, but they also indeed do admit that the Destiny Hero card was possessed by the Light of Destruction at the time, which started to inhabit the D, then later Sartorius. With these new revelations, Aster duels the D and faces that card, Destiny Hero Plasma, one of my personal favorite cards.
My diamond dude! You want some more? Well, check this out. Thanks to his special effect, I can draw another card. And if it happens to be a spell card, I can use it on my next turn, because I've got plenty of fight left. I play Pot of Greed!
Where we see Aster's dad isn't dead, he's actually been absorbed by Plasma due to one of its abilities. Gross. Where he has enough energy to exposit that he never planned to finish the Plasma card due to its power, but was compelled by the Light who planned to inhabit it to get him to finish it. And he tells Aster this light in the D is a fake, the real one is in Sartorius and needs to be destroyed, along with this one, which means Aster has to destroy his own father by defeating Plasma in this duel. And he manages to do so, breaking his heart, but finally getting his dad's card back and finding resolution. And now there's only one thing left to do, defeat the Light in Sartorius. While I like all that, why are we just learning about the D now? What a weak twist. Yeah, to Aster, this is a big deal. His surrogate father killed his real one, but as a viewer, I just met this guy. You couldn't have set him up in any of the other episodes, you know, made him more a part of Aster's life to make this twist an actual twist. Like, the one thing I touted this series as being pretty good at was having good setups for things, and then they just dropped the ball here. With the D gone, the Light of Destruction decides to step up his plans now that Aster has Plasma, and all his cronies are getting smacked by Jaden too, so he makes one last effort by lighting up Prince Ojin to duel Jaden. Bro, Light of Destruction, my guy. This plan of inhabiting other duelists to duel Jaden has not worked the other 20 times you tried it. Why do you think now it'll work?
Can't be!
What was that you said before? Power wins over friendship? Care to take that back?
See, he used friendship. You can't beat that, bestie. So finally, the Light gets off its lazy ass and decides to duel himself by challenging Aster to a duel. Because, oh yeah, he has that whole power to control his fate cards to get the broken good outcomes. And surprisingly, cheating works as the Light manages to overwhelm Aster and nearly win, even taunting Aster, who now wants to save Sartorius because friendship. As Sartorius has been essentially dead for a long time, the Light has completely taken over. That's when the actual Sartorius comes, and Aster, phrasing, as some time ago, the good version of Sartorius started inhabiting part of Aster, cause magic. And thanks to him and how broken Plasma is, Aster almost wins. Until the Light summons his boss monster and rigs it so he wins, and Aster fades away. Jaden, who's been watching this the whole time, is all angry now, and decides it's his turn to face the Light. And now here it is, you Slifer Slackers, the season finale of GX Season 2, Jaden versus Majin Sartorius, is not at all what I'm gonna talk about, because honestly the stuff happening around this duel is way more interesting than the duel itself. Like when the Lights manage to get Jaden's key and uses a still-possessed Ojin to start the satellite. So to help out, Hasselberry teams up with the prince's secretary, whose name I don't remember, it doesn't matter, to stop him. But it's too late, as the satellite is set to launch. But then, I want to be clear, everything I'm about to tell you is not made up, it's not a joke by me, it's not from an abridged series, it's not made by AI. The following plot development I'm going to describe to you actually happens in Season 2, Episode 104 total of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So Hasselberry decides to channel his dino DNA, which summons the dinosaur spirit living inside of him, which leaves his body as kind of a stand, I guess, and he teams up with a dual spirit of one of Jaden's elemental heroes that's kind of bad, so I don't care about it, to fly into space to destroy the satellite, where they are aided by the dead techno spirit of Serena, who uploaded her mind into the Matrix, and through this triforce of awesomeness, they are able to destroy the satellite. There are people who were paid to write that. Look, obviously, I'm fine with stupid. I love it, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh! But you cannot convince me the writers were not high as fuck making that. Meanwhile, to all that, the GX tournament, that's still happening, I guess, and there are still plenty of students following the light. Luckily for Duel Academy, they have the Royal of Red Eyes himself, the Chaz, who single-handedly beats almost all of the remaining Society of Light members, helping weaken the Light's grip. And he gets enough of the medals I didn't explain to make it to the finals of the tournament. But someone else has just as much, some mysterious new kid, and Chaz and this kid duel to see who will be the winner. And it's revealed this kid is Blair? Who? Oh, right, she was that girl from that one-off episode that stuck into the academy to be with Zane but ended up falling for Jaden. Yeah, she's back, and not only did she enter this tournament, but she will also be a new student next year. If you remember, the dub said she was a second-year elementary school student, which means she was 8 last year, and this being the next year, she's 10 at most, and she's entering a high school. But like Rebecca in the OG, Blair's age was really lowered for some reason in the dub. In the original Japanese, as of this season and into Season 3, she's like 13 or 14, which is a huge difference.
Time to chaz it up, and I'll start with Pot of Greed. So I draw 2 cards.
Either way, she loses to Chaz, making my boy, the Sultan of Super Heavy Samurai, the winner of the GX tournament. Of course, could it be anyone else? Where for winning, he gets admitted back into the blue dorm, while Blair, if she won, wanted to be in the Slifer red dorm. Wonder why. So yeah, there was the dinosaur, Hasselberry, Blair, Chaz being awesome. I think that was everything. Did I forget to cover something in the season finale? Was there anything important I missed?
Want proof? Then let's get our game on, shall we? And I'll start with this. Pot of Greed. And you know what that means. I get 2 more cards.
Nope. So the day is saved. Jaden beats the light, freeing Sartorius from its control, and everything goes back to normal at Duel Academy. With no one possessed anymore, and then, wait. Why is Serena here? I thought she uploaded herself and her body was destroyed. Didn't that happen? Are we gonna explain that?
I'm a sucker for happy endings. Well, what's left to say?
How about your famous catchphrase?
Get your game on! What game are we talking about?
You're ruining the mood!
And that's GX Season 2. I can see why someone would like this. It has good ideas, you know, with Aster as a new rival, Zane's turn, if you like that. This entity of the Light of Destruction. Too bad they don't do anything with any of those concepts. That's the season in a nutshell. Good ideas. What execution? Because instead of focusing and expanding on these ideas, it instead tries to also be that fun, lighthearted version in the first season by having those strange standalone episodes, making the characters come off as dumb or aloof to the very obvious evil threats around them. And then the GX tournament is completely unnecessary and is the worst tournament arc so far in Yu-Gi-Oh! Would you even remember it if I didn't keep bringing it up? Aster could have been a good rival for Jaden, but they sidelined him for no reason to focus on Jaden fighting some random society member every week. I don't know, man. Still, so far, it feels to me like this series wasn't made to carry on Yu-Gi-Oh's story or to bring it into the next generation, as, again, the series is about. It feels like it was made so they can keep selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Then when the ratings in Season 1 were bad, they were like, oh, we should try to have a story, but ended up with this mess of plot threads that go nowhere and don't coincide with one another at all at the end. Yeah, the original Yu-Gi-Oh started off with no real story or direction too, but Takahashi was a good writer and managed to make it all work in the world and mythos he made. It seems like GX really needs an overhaul, something to make it feel like there are stakes, that things happening matter, and most importantly, that the characters can be active in the story instead of waiting for their cue to do something. Some of you have seen Season 3 and think I haven't already seen it are probably like, oh man, I can't wait till he gets to that. For those that don't know, Season 3 of GX is the best one, technically. And yes, I also like Season 3. Spoilers, I will be positive next time. But it does have its issues. Like Season 2, some of those problems will be consistent through every Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, unfortunately. So join me next time to find out what those nitpicks of mine are when we take a look at the final season that was dubbed and broadcast in America, Season 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. The darkest season. Darkest season. Darkest season. Darkest season.